This is a continuation of my artist accounts channel update. My phone memory only got so much space right now. Don't have time to clear it out. Just made the video, deleted the video, using the same space again. Try and be succinct so it doesn't happen again. Didn't mean for that to drop off so dramatically. The great distribution I've continued after the self-realization series. It is probably the most personally satisfying thing I've done with my art to date. I'm getting down to where I'm getting down to sketches and kind of older works that are harder to place, but I'm going to continue doing it, and I think I want to give away 85 to 95% of my work. It keeps getting bigger. At first I like, oh, I'll give away half of it. The more I give it away, the more I think it's a better plan. Why should I be storing it? Why should I be keeping it? Once it's photoed, once it's documented, preferably once it's put up online for sale as reproductions, then I should give it to someone who it makes sense for them to have it. So, in an upcoming video, I might be actually asking for audience help on some pieces that are weirder, older, harder to figure out a meaningful person for them to give, like for me to give it to. Um, and I don't know if that's what I'll do with my new work, or if once I get through the work I have presently, if that phase will be over. I don't know if I'll do this distribution and wait a few years and then maybe do another one. But that's what I want to do for now. And we'll see where it takes me. Um, so, where I'm going with the channel, I'm going to be doing some more conversation with her videos. I'm going to be doing a little bit of social commentary stuff, not too much. I want it to be related to symbolism, and I want it to be at the philosophical layer. But at the same time, I don't want to be obfuscating unnecessarily my positions on things. I just don't see that approaching much higher than a philosophical layer is a useful place for me. Um, I'm probably going to jump on the train of doing a decluttering video, and it's just because I'm going to be trying to adopt some minimalism in my art studio. I wouldn't want to do it in the majority of my house. That's not what my channel is about anyway. But I am trying to do it for art, and I see that people are doing that, and maybe it's interesting. I do kind of hope one of the major things about adopting some minimalism is it's taking on a faith, because hoarding comes from scarcity. It comes from being afraid. It comes from doubt and unsurety. And letting go is being like, no, no, I've decided that I believe things will be held together. And it's kind of a weirdly big deal, especially like when it comes down to like, oh, do I need to keep the old markers that kind of only mostly work? I don't know. But so I'm taking it on in many facets of my life, and it will definitely be taking it on with my studio anyway. So I'm gonna do a video on that. I'm planning on doing a conspiracy video with her, which I'm quite excited about, but it's like, I still can't, it's not perfect yet. And so, um, maybe I'll do more conversations. It'll have to be just because they can't be avoided. Maybe that sounds terrible. It's like I'm purposely trying to avoid conversation. But the thing is, I'm not super into seeking out conversations. If I'm doing conversations, I would rather do them with someone on their conversation channel. Like I have conversations with Vanderclay. Like I think that's more appropriate. I am trying to keep this about my artist practice, although I'm expanding it to more of my life, because it's kind of unavoidable. If you're doing art in a real way, it is your life. It's at least it's a significant piece of it. It's more work and life. It's not as plug and play. And I don't want it to be plug and play. It's taken me a long time since working professionally to feel like I am an artist. And I think probably I always was, but it's one of those goofy things that you can say it all day, but knowing what it means is an entirely other thing. Speaking of goofy things, I persistently journal from the giant journaling video that I did. And often I'm just griping about things I don't like to myself for a way to vent harmlessly. But I've tried to change that up and put in what I am grateful for as well, which is somewhat harder to do. But not thinking about those things, I often too just kind of freeform start writing. And I wrote a thing that I quite liked, and I often write these things and don't know what to do with them. And as with much of my art, let's put it on the internet because that makes sense. So this is a funny thing I wrote to myself, and maybe it'll be of use to somebody. And I edited it a little bit for the sake of the internet, but here we go. I began. I began to let go of some of my long-term treasures, with deciding to begin the great distribution. Much of myself has changed. The way I see the material world has changed. No longer is anything stone. I have reclaimed the Greek artifice of seeing the world as a blooming rose. I see everything I own as so much more temporal now. Everything I make is temporal. Ideas, relationships, I see them more solid now, more than all other resources. They are the ever replenishing well. All supplies are an ever emptier canteen. I no longer live in the shadow of a dream. I relinquished all hiding colors from my wardrobe. Olives, greens, dark blues, purples, they're gone. I've purposely replaced them with optimistic eye-drawing colors, and with them I have stepped out of the woodline. I have begun to take up responsibility to become myself. I should have done it a long time ago. I had every opportunity. I let distraction, comfort, and self-pity deter me. The deluge of society diluted my constitution. No longer. I am coming down from the hills, putting aside my comforts. I will build myself, physically, mentally, habitually, materially. I will offer what is in my means to those doing the same. I am not alone. The giant wakes in the hearts of the race of men. The giant is coming down from the hills. The giant is coming from the high places, from the far places, from all its haunts of refuge. The giant comes to restore sanctuary in the low places, in the green valley. The thieves and the lawless cannot endure the restoration of the sanctuary. They will break themselves upon its walls. Maybe I don't know what that means. Maybe that's just poetic thoughts of some silly girl sitting in a coffee shop. And maybe we all know what it means. And maybe we're going to do that. Wish you all the very best.